Prime Minister with unrest inside his caucus as Parliament returns from a 2-week break. It comes as the latest One News Varian poll shows the party dropping 4 points to 30%, the worst result for National since Christopher Luxon became leader. It would see the coalition government out of power. This was the PM on Friday when confronted with questions about reports of his MPs wanting him gone within the fortnight.
If we had an election today, this government would be reinstated. Well, again, as I said, if there was an election held today, this coalition government is reinstated. Any polls that I've seen, public polls, have said that this coalition government would be re-elected if there was an election today.
Prime Minister Christopher Luxon joins me now in studio. Morena, Prime Minister.
Morena, Tova, good to be with you.
That argument we just heard from you there, that no longer applies. The coalition government would be out on these numbers.
Well, I think that's the whole contradiction of the polls, and that's why you've heard me say I don't comment on polls. 48 hours ago, we were able to form a coalition government that had a 10 MP majority over the opposition. And then fast forward 48 hours, you're telling me your viewers want to put Labour, the Greens into Party Māori into power. And so that's the inconsistency that sits in those polls.
But you can't...
48 hours ago, that poll that I was referencing on Friday had Winston Peters in New Zealand First at 15. Your poll, 48 hours later, has it at 10. So the point is, I get it. There's irrespective. We know we want to do better, and there's a lot more for us to do. But you can understand also why, sitting in my position as Prime Minister, I don't get bounced around by polls, because I have to focus on delivering strong economic management and stable coalition.
But I suppose on Friday you were emphatically using the argument that everything was hunky-dory because the coalition government would be re-elected. You were using a poll to bolster your position. Now there's a poll saying you're out.
And that's the total inconsistency in what we deal with polls.
The trends are consistent.
Well, the point I'd take to you, and the point I do agree about the polls, is that we know, we're not where we want to be as a national party, and we know that we want to do better. And that starts with me, my team, and everyone in the party. But I'm just also highlighting, you cannot tell me that your viewers today want to put Chris Hipkins in as Prime Minister and actually want to elect a Labour Greens to party government. I just don't believe that.
It's not our viewers. It's a sample size of New Zealand.
Well, it's a sample of 1,000 people, just like the previous poll last week was another sample of 1,000 people that said completely different things. So I'm just trying to say to you, if you're sitting in my position as Prime Minister, I can tell you I honestly don't sit there each and every day getting bounced around by whatever the latest poll is in any given week.
So you won't be doing any internal polling anymore by that logic, because the polls...
Well, we do have our own view on that, and we look at that. But and all I'm just saying to you is we know we want to do better. We need to do better as a national party. We know it's also been very volatile and challenging times. You heard Brad Olsen raise that point when you interviewed him just before. But what this country needs is strong economic management and a stable coalition, and that's what we're delivering.
Have you considered stepping down?
No, not at all.
Not even in a quiet moment, a private conversation with a man?
No, not at all. No, there is so much to do. We have such a fantastic country. We are going through some really challenging times, as is the whole of the world. And actually, what's needed at this point is someone who understands that economy, can deliver strong economic management, and get New Zealand through these tough, troubled times to the other side, and the immense potential this great country has of ours. That's what gets me fired up and out of bed every morning. That's why I came to politics 5 years ago when I first met you. It was because, man, I don't want to get to 90 years old saying we should have tried, and we've got an awesome country here, got amazing potential.
Would you ever step down pre-election?
No, it's not. No
matter what happens, you won't quit.
No, because I came to do this job because I want to solve problems and I want to get things done.
Okay, but even if this downward polling trend continues, even if National Party colleagues, caucus members come to you and say, for the good of the party, you should step down, you won't do it.
Tova, I can tell you, it's just not what I'm contemplating. I have the full support of my caucus. We've got a job to do. We know it's a difficult time for New Zealanders. Let's be honest, we're all over it. We've gone through COVID, we've gone through inflation, recession, we've gone through Trump's tariffs, horrible weather events, and now we're dealing with a fuel crisis. And so, New Zealanders really want me focused on doing what I can do, which is manage the economy and get us to the other side.
So what do you do then if this keeps becoming a distraction, if this keeps being the story of your leadership? What do you do?
Well, I just encourage you and the media, if you want to talk about polls...
It's not me, it's your MPs, it's voters, it's business confidence.
But every week I end up discussing a poll with media. That's not where the New Zealand people are at. The New Zealand people are at making sure that we have strong economic management and stable coalition government. And I've delivered on both those pieces. It's difficult, it's tough, it's challenging for everybody in the country. It's actually difficult, tough and challenging for everybody around the world right now. On Friday night I was with a number of world leaders, and I was just thinking about some of the challenges they have in their countries. I'm very grateful to be leading New Zealand. I think we can do exceptionally well. and we can pop up out of this crisis and get back on our foils and get the show on the road.
Okay, you don't want us talking about the polls, but your MPs are talking about the polls. One of them told me last night, quote, if word, it is not good, is it? This is how your MPs are reacting.
Well, all of us understand that actually we need to do better as a party in communicating the need for strong economic management and the things that we're doing for New Zealand. You know, we're doing some phenomenal educational reforms. We're doing some phenomenal things about opening up Indian
This is
FTAs.
exactly the problem, right? You're not able to talk about these things because your caucus, some of them, they want you gone.
Oh, look.
It's a distraction.
No, look, Tova, there will be a very small handful of understandably disgruntled, backbench MPs. That is normal in any party. We have 49...
Disgruntled because they're worried they're going to lose their jobs.
Sure,
right?
get it. And I want every single one of those MPs back in Parliament because they're incredibly talented, and we're going to do exactly that over the next few months.
Another person told me, another MP told me, obviously people are unhappy. Do you have the unanimous, do you believe that you have the full support of your caucus?
Yes, I do.
Friday? It's not unanimous though, is it?
Well, I don't think...
You just talked about disgruntled MPs.
Yeah, but I think go talk to any political leader, Te Pāti Māori leaders, Labour leaders, any leader of any political
They're
party.
not the Prime Minister.
No, for sure, but I'm just saying, I'm trying to be straight with you about the reality of politics, and inevitably there'll be someone who has a slightly different view in any caucus group. We understand that, and I understand that frustration. And what we're saying is we're not where we want to be and we need to do better. We get all of that. But the way we do that is it's actually head down, focus on what we can do for New Zealanders and getting through this crisis.
Do you have the numbers?
Yes, I have full support of my caucus, yeah.
Who's doing the numbers for you?
I don't need to do them, Tova, as I said last week, yeah.
Okay, on this poll, 12 MPs lose their job, and I know we have a terrible track record with this, and I'm only asking because I can't work it out myself, but do you know who those 12 MPs are that would lose their jobs on
Well,
these
as I
numbers?
just said to you, last week there was a poll that said our coalition government would have 10 more MPs in Parliament.
Talking about our poll, the One News variant
Sure,
poll.
yeah, and now I'm dealing with your poll this week, 48 hours later, it says something completely different. All I know is I want every single one of my 49 MPs into Parliament. They're talented people. They've got huge contributions to make to this country. It's a fantastic group of people. We have a good caucus dynamic. And our job is to actually go to work. We have to go to work for New Zealand.
What did you feel for those guys, those MPs that would lose their jobs though? Do you feel for them?
Yeah, look, I fully understand.
God's sake.
That's why we're
Kidding me.
And saying we're not where we want to be, we've got to do better.
Take responsibility if they did lose their jobs?
Well, I feel very personally because
Keep at it, Tova, keep at it.
I know how
Jesus.
hard they've worked. I know how hard we've worked as a party. What we achieved in 2020, from you were there in 2020, you used to harass me every day about how bad the National Party was in its civil war status, and then also we found a way to unify our party and win. And then we unified and pulled together a coalition government. We've done it, and we've inherited a tough set of times. We wish we had more positive cards to play than the environment that we inherited, but we are working together as a team in really hard times, and I'm proud of our team.
Yeah, and you got to that point in 2020 because of leadership changes in situations like this. Stuart Smith, the party whip, the Herald reported that he'd been trying to get in touch with you ahead of Easter to raise some of these concerns from within your caucus. Did that happen?
I'm not aware of that, and I just say post-Easter, I was with Stuart last Tuesday all day in North Canterbury, and it wasn't raised at all with me.
Pre-Easter, no one told you that Stuart was trying to get in touch to raise concerns?
Oh, go for the gotcha, Tova, go for the gotcha.
All day last Tuesday, and we have a good relationship, and if there was anything he needed to tell me, he would have.
And Stuart Smith retains your confidence as the party whip?
Yes, he does, yes.
Okay. There's no chance that he's going to lose his role?
No, not at all. It's not something I'm considering at all. I think he's a great whip.
How will you bring this up in caucus tomorrow with all of your MPs? What's your message going to be to them? Are you going to tell them to get in line?
Yeah, well, look, I mean, you sort of have to understand our history a bit, and you've been around politics and seen that era of
You're
time.
really sucking up to me this morning.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying, I'm trying to be really mature about the fact of how politics kind of works, which is when you go through an experience like we went through in 2020, which was what we called the Civil War of the National Party, we had 5 leaders in 5 years. I had to come in 12 months after coming to politics and bring that team together. And so we have done a lot of work as a caucus on our culture, on our teamwork, on giving and receiving feedback to each other. And it may be very different from how other parties organise, but actually it's the way that I've led teams in my past life, and I think that's helped us get to where we got to so quickly in 23.
We've got to wrap up, but just before you go, do you fundamentally think that New Zealand should honour the treaty?
Yes, I do.
So why are you removing treaty clauses from some pieces of legislation?
Yeah, pretty simple. Look, the bottom line is we've obviously got to keep honouring treaty settlements and our obligations under the treaty. We have a number of pieces of legislation that say give effect to the treaty, honour the treaty.
Why not make them all honour the treaty?
Well, because actually, as you put in different bespoke pieces of legislation, what you want to do is make more specific treaty clauses as it pertains to that topic or that subject or policy area. Because what you don't want is uncertainty. You need actually certainty about how are we going to meet our obligations that we have together under the treaty. But we should spell that out very specifically rather than leave it open-ended, ambiguous and not available for people to interpret.
All right, Prime Minister Christopher Luxon, thank you very much.